All right, looks like we're about to begin. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. I guess we can do the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, we ask a blessing on all of our citizens. We also ask a blessing on our board members here tonight. Please give them the wisdom to make good decisions for our city. We ask a blessing on all of our military, wherever they are in the world, keep them safe and bring them home to us. We ask a blessing on our first responders as they go about the job of keeping us safe. Please, Lord, keep them safe. We ask a blessing on all of the doctors, nurses, and all of the others out there who are struggling to keep the rest of us all healthy as we go through these times. So, Lord, we put all of this in your hands, as well as in your name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair Lumnick is absent. Vice Chair Mellon?
Present.
Member Kennedy?
Present.
Member Williams?
Present.
Member Forges?
Present.
Member Keller?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our consent agenda, minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held October 12, 2021. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, it passes. Old business, it looks like there is none. New business, we're off to the West Orange Surgery Center. We gonna have an annexation and rezoning. I'd like to introduce Zoning Manager Whitfield.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So before the commission tonight is the West Orange Surgery Center. The issues before you is the annexation of the two properties and the rezoning from Orange County A1 to City PUD. This development application includes two properties. They're addressed at 3422 and 3432 Old Winter Garden Road, immediately in the southeast corner of Old Winter Garden and Blackwood. Combined, they total 1.27 acres. The two properties are now eligible for annexation because they're contiguous to existing city limits. They are within the joint planning area between the county and the city. They are serviceable by our utilities, and the annexation will not result in an enclave. The proposed use is a surgery center, and it is immediately south of the Orlando Health Hospital. The site is currently developed with two single-family structures. To the north, as I mentioned, is the hospital. Northwest is the Walmart. To the immediate west is an apartment complex. To the south is a residential, some residential uses. The two properties to the east are currently vacant, but they have a PUD land zoning district for a medical use as well. This map shows the surrounding future land use categories, and this one shows the surrounding zoning. In this slide, you'll see two site plans. The one on the left is the subject property. What they're proposing is a one-story, 11,500 square foot medical surgery center. In their land use plan, they're asking for 15-foot setback, building setback from Old Winter Garden Road, 10-foot building setback from Blackwood, 10-foot on the side, which will be the east side, which they meet, 25 in the rear, which is the south side. In terms of the parking ratios that they are asking, they had asked for, I believe the requirement for medical is 1 per 100. They're asking for a little bit above that. Staff is supporting 1 per 250 square feet to mirror what was previously approved in the site to the immediate east. Stormwater is being provided through a combination of surface retention as well as an exfiltration system that is currently being engineered. landscaping will be provided along Old Winter Garden and Blackwood, which is the two fronts. On the south side for the residential, the comp plan requires a minor landscape buffer, which is essentially 10 feet plus landscaping and a wall or fencing. On the east side, I'll go into more detail in just a moment. So the other image on the right-hand side, the site plan on the right-hand side, is the previously approved West Orange Medical Center. As you see on this land use plan, it had 3 building footprints, 2 one-story buildings and 1 two-story building. All of them are have a footprint of less than 4,000 square feet. The applicants for this site is now in for is requesting an amendment to change this land use plan to change it from previously 14,000 square feet of 3 buildings, each building with a footprint of less than 4,000 square feet, to 1 building at 11,000 square feet. It will still be 1 story, but the building footprint is larger, so the building mass is increasing, so it's an amendment to the PUD. And of course, with that, they're also adjusting the circulation. Because let's see, I want to go to at the DRC discussion on December 7th, there was a long discussion on site layout, developing a coordinated site in that southeast corner, and a lot of discussion on utilities. So following the discussion, the DRC ultimately recommended approval subject to those 2 conditions. Development of a coordinated plan that reflects a shared driveway and shared vehicular connections, and the resolution of utilities. I want to back up for just a second. As you see in this layout, this connection here, I'm sorry that you don't hear me, this connection here to the previously approved one is about 300 feet from the Blackwood and Oakland Garden intersection. What they had originally submitted was about 190 feet from the intersection. So staff felt the need to have a shared driveway, which is what you'll see in the next slide. So since the December 7th DRC meeting, I have to give my appreciation to both applicants for meeting with each other and talking over the past couple of weeks to come up with this concept plan that haven't been formally submitted as a revision, but is something that is in draft form that they've sent to us, where the surgery center, which is this applicant, has agreed to modify their connection on the south, so there's driveway connection here on the north and on the south. They will have a full access off of Blackwood, and the 2 sites will have a shared driveway access off of Owen Garden. So they're continuing, 2 sites combined, they're continuing to place the driveway connection, which is a right in, right out because of an existing median, as far away from the intersection as possible to improve safety. So the only other outstanding issues really is to finalize the cross-access easement, which they can do closer to final engineering, and then working out the sewer flows and connections with the utilities department. So with the improvements that they've done to their site, their land use plan, staff is recommending approval of the annexation and the rezoning from County A1 to City PUD for the properties located at 3422 and 3432 Old Winter Garden Road, subject to the 2 conditions, again, which are developing a coordinated plan for access and circulation and the resolution of all the outstanding utilities issues. And with that, the applicant and the engineer are here to represent the project. If you have any questions of me or them, thank you.
Would the applicant want to come up here? No?
Okay.
Does anybody here have any questions for the staff?
Just so I'm clear, because I think I may have either misread or misunderstood you. I've got a conflict. So the property to the east is another owner separate altogether. They're going to come later and make the changes that they're proposing, or are we doing that all in one?
It's
'Cause
two
that's
separate,
confusing to me.
2 separate applicants, 2 separate projects, 2 separate owners. It's just that the owners, the properties to the immediate east are coming to staff with a request for amending their land use plan that was already approved as well. So they're kind of coming in almost simultaneously with each other. We've been in conversations, we've had pre-application meetings with the properties to the immediate east. This property had a pre-application, and now they've actually submitted for their first round of reviews. We are anticipating the applicants for the property to the east, the existing medical center, to submit their application in the next week or so.
Oh, okay, that's what I was confused about. Thank you, that was helpful.
Yes, and that would just be a non-substantial amendment that will go to City Commission
Right.
for consent.
Okay.
And with regards to the easement, for the driveway easement from both the west and east property, should we assume that no construction will be complete or will commence until that agreement is reached?
I believe that both parties have agreed to provide the easement. They're working out the engineering and the legalities of how the easement will work. Right now, I believe the plan is to just put on both land use plans that there will be cross-access easements, shared driveway and shared access.
But the assumption is no construction will start until it's actually recorded easement.
I believe so, right, Mike?
Because they're two different owners, right?
No. The site plan will identify the easement as well. So if this parcel comes in, they will provide the easement in an easement document. That's part of the site plan approval. Yeah, which is the next step.
Okay.
So in that site plan review, they'll provide, they'll locate, show the easement, we'll want the document, the physical easement document that's going to be recorded to be prepared, and as part of the site plan approval, that document will be recorded. It'll be a cross-access easement for the public and for the property to the east. You know, if some reason the property to the east ends up developing faster, and then that easement going to Blackwood will not be in place because this one would be behind. But we're not going to hold either one up. They're both going to show it, and we'll get the easement document from this one at the site plan.
Gotcha.
I assume that they're both tracking about the same in this one, and so, but you never know that. I just want to say, the other one could come in first for construction, and we would not hold it up because this site plan's still being worked out. But, so at the front, they would each just show an easement on their property. This one, for the rear, because it goes to another public all the way across there will be a separate easement document that's recorded with it as part of the site plan approval. But nothing, no development's held up. Obviously, if they don't provide the easement, then we won't approve the site plan. In a sense, that's holding up development. But
Okay.
And then I've got one question as well, and it's mainly, only because I got confused on the house that's, I guess, the southwest corner there. Is that one of the ones that's going to be removed, or is that off the property, and how close to the line is that gonna be? If you go back one more slide, well, one more, there you go.
Yeah.
Because when you look at that line on the bottom south, that house looks almost like right on the line. So I'm just wondering, how's that property affecting that house?
Well, it's a separate property. When I drove by it, it looked like it's occupied by the residents or the tenants, the occupants. This line is drawn quite large. Right here is where they're planning on putting their retention pond, as well as heavy landscaping. So the development itself is actually going to occur about 15 feet from the north property line.
Okay, so basically, they're not gonna have cars driving by their windows every time?
No, because it's
Okay.
separated by a stormwater pond that'll be
Okay,
landscaped.
thank you.
Is this only going to be a landscape separation between the medical center and that house, or is there going to be like a fence?
The comp plan allows them to, requires a minor buffer, which is 10 feet, that's landscape plus wall or fence. So they could do wall or fence.
Are the separate parties, separate owners related parties?
I don't think so. Are the two owners related? I don't think so, no.
Any more questions for staff? All right, with that being said, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak about this item, here's your chance. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment, and 2 motions are going to be necessary. Can I have a motion to either recommend or deny approval of annexation, please?
So, Mr. Chair, I move that we recommend approval of the annexation AX 102122.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And then call the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now we're going to need the next one for rezoning. Can I get a motion to approve rezoning?
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning, packet RZ 2110-13.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got the motion to approve. Can we do a vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you.
Next up on the list, we have the Everest Rehabilitation Hospital, AKA Ocoee Landings Commercial PUD public hearing. This is a large-scale preliminary final site plan. I would like to introduce Development Services Director Mike Rummer.
Thank you. Again, this is the site that's known as the Ocoee Landings Plan Unit Development. It's located east of the intersection of Clark Road and Silver Star. It's just east of the public shopping center. It's located on Lake Ohio Road and Silver Star Road. The plan unit development consisted of this large parcel, of which we have 50 single-family homes, master stormwater pond, and then we had what was going to be thought of in the PUD would be possible 4 commercial lots. You can see from the aerial, I tried to draw it smaller, but for some reason the property identification line kept moving around the map, so I could only get it to set in, zoom that close. But you can see the single-family subdivisions all totally built out, all 50 single-family homes. You have the public shopping center, Willows on the Lake. They have a gated access on this road, and you have the Burger King and Citrus Elementary School across the road. This is the Dollar General, and you have at the intersection to the subdivision and the intersection with Silver Bend. As part of the construction of the single-family homes, DOT made them close an open median, full access median, so for direct lefts only. And that was just what they termed a short-term improvement at such time they thought a signal will be warranted sometime in the near future. So at some point, there'll be a signal at the Silver Bend entrance, which is just to the east from here. The property is all zoned commercial. It was done as a mixed-use plan unit development. The residences have access through the gate here, and they can walk through and go to this site or go to the Publix. And, sorry, that's a land use of commercial. The zoning is commercial plan unit development. And here's the overall PUD plan. They envision 4 with a 4th lot here. The Everest is ending up taking the bulk of all of lot 1, 2, and 3, and this lot 4 will be remaining. So what's proposed is a 39,000 square foot, they call it Everest Rehabilitation Hospital. It's a rehabilitation center. It's a really unique concept. And they've got a footprint for an expansion of 4,000 square feet. There's parking provided. The site is accessed it's going to be a joint access with this remaining commercial parcel on the east side. And then they have a second access across from the most northern entrance on Lake Ohio Road to the public shopping center. There'll be a right turn decel lane on Silver Star going into this access point. And then at the Development Review Committee meeting, the day of it, they were proposing an additional right turn decel lane, and as well as a right turn decel lane on Lake Ohio. DOT is going to does not want this right turn decel lane going onto Lake Ohio Road. And so as they finish those comments, that would be one change to the plan when it goes to commission, but they're still talking to DOT. And then we'll have a right turn decel lane on Lake Ohio Road going into the subdivision, into the development. The stormwater discharges into the master pond that was provided in the overall PUD. They have the little master pond. Actually, this property used to be an airstrip at one time, years and years ago. And then there'll be cross-access provided to, that's a good word, we got cross-access on the previous development, we're getting some more cross-access, limit those driveways to the parcel to the east here. This will be, so there'll be a cross-access easement to provide access to this parcel to the east. The existing subdivision has already constructed a brick wall, nice brick wall all the way down here as part of the requirements of the PD. So that's already in place. The site facilitates, and the applicant's here, someone from Everest is not here, but the engineer and property developer is here. But there's two sort of drop-off areas, parking, you go in, they have a center courtyard, and parking all the way around. This area is remaining green. Back during the PD, it was kind of visioned to be a future lot. It's going to have utilities potentially run through it, but this is all a part of the Everest Rehabilitation Hospital. It's 36 beds. It's like it's sort of one of the last places you go to gain functions. I saw a presentation from the applicant from the Everest. They have the treadmills like in the water tank, and they have a car you can get in and out of, and they have different stuff like that to give you that last bit of rehabilitation so you can function on your own. The other main aspects of this, there's water and sewer at the site. The elevations don't really go to, if you can go to the Everest website, you'll see what the places look like. It's a lot of glass, a lot of moving light in there. It's a really nice architectural feel to it. And so this is we're moving this forward as a preliminary because we still have some things that are unknown. We're hoping when we get to the city commission, it'll be a preliminary final. The final goes to the city commission as a consent. If we can catch the plans up, we'll present it to them as a preliminary final, but it's a preliminary at this step, public hearing. The Development Review Committee has reviewed this. We have just some small comments on utilities, just a line how that line's going to run. It can be fully served by water and sewer from City of Ocoee. The capacity's there, and I'll entertain any questions. This was the site of the Firestone tire that got denied by the city.
Yeah,
That's a much.
Are there any questions for the staff?
just one, Mr. Chair. You were mentioning that it would have cross-access to the property to the east?
Yes, this.
I don't remember, has that property come?
No, it's
Oh,
still
that's all
vacant.
part of the PUD?
It's all part of the P, it's a
Okay.
vacant lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I am working with someone has it under contract. I am working on a plan with them, as is the engineer. The engineer of record for this site was the whole planning and development engineer. We're working with a prospect on it, trying to get something to see if it can work. It would be large scale, it would be over 25,000, so you might see something soon. We're not there yet, but we may get there,
Okay, I just couldn't remember
yes.
what that was.
And Mike, on the back of Lot 3, is that where it meets Willows on the Lake?
Yes, so they're providing a wall, there's a wall here,
Okay.
they're extending the wall, yes. It's really adjacent to, right here, it's adjacent to a single-family home.
Okay.
This section's actually, this is a vacated right-of-way. It's part of Willows on the Lake, and then you have the pond. And so you'll see directly adjacent to that single-family home that's in here, there's a good distance with a wall and green. This will be planted landscape buffer, but yes.
Okay, and that'd be that wall from the residential
Yes.
Same, I'm assuming same material, same type of
It'll
construction?
be, they did precast, did they do? Yeah, so.
I think
it'll be the
precast
same.
with bricks, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
the
think so.
best. Yeah.
Well, that's all. Much
Saves
better
the
than
roots, tree roots.
the car repair shop. And the car wash, I think, was
I have a
before.
couple
Yes.
questions.
Yeah. Okay.
The picture that you have, the vacant lots in the cul-de-sac, are they improved now?
Yeah, all of the lots, all the single-family homes have been constructed.
And the wall goes all the way up?
Goes this way, and goes all the way up to
No,
about here.
what does it do at the top where the cul-de-sac is?
It goes up and then it goes around
Okay, thank you.
the
That's
back.
So I guess the one other question that I have then is, with that wall already there, what are they looking to do for the utilities to use that retention pond there for draining water? Because I guess I'm just trying to picture.
So this subdivision, yeah, has lines that go into this. This is going to go this way through a predetermined location to tie into the pond. So this lot will have, it'll have the line that runs. I'll let Dave, the engineer, come up and speak to it better than me.
Then I take it whoever builds on that lot 4.
Yeah, it would have a drainage easement.
We'll have
if
to
there's a pipe
have
through.
the-
Yeah, it'll have a drainage easement.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My question would be, how tall is this? I noticed there was like a high parapet on that building, and then my question would really relate to the height and the sight lines to the northern community.
Okay,
Is it
so
gonna
the
be
height,
maybe an eyesore?
maximum height in the commercial zoning, which this property was, but they just rezoned it PD commercial, is 45 feet. This is not even near 45 feet.
Any more questions? Or is the applicant here, and would the applicant like to speak? And if you would, can you give your name and address, please?
Sure. Dave Schmidt Engineering, 12301 Lake Underhill Road, Orlando, Florida, 32828. And I'm just here, we agree with staff's recommendation and here to answer any questions that you might have that Mike didn't already answer. Good job.
Do any members have any questions for the applicant? All right, well, hearing none, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak about this project, now's your chance. Did you fill out a form? If you could, fill out a form.
I talked to them before the meeting, they just still wanted to attend, so they had some questions I answered before the meeting.
Oh, they
they're
did,
good.
so we're good? Okay.
Okay, to the right.
And seeing that there are no public speakers, I'm going to close the public comment, and it looks like we're going to need one motion and only one motion. And can I have a motion to recommend approval of the large-scale preliminary?
Mr. Chair, that's just one vote. We'll need 2 motions.
Oh, it's one vote.
Correct.
Okay.
The wording's a little different.
Gotcha. Can I have a motion to recommend approval of the large-scale preliminary final site plan for project LS 2021-007?
I'll make that motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have, now it's time to vote. Who's all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. All right, now we're off to the Ocoee Tomlin Self-Storage, AKA Pet Paradise, FKA Barkeritaville. Public hearing.
Formerly known as Barkeritaville, yeah.
Yeah, Barkeritaville, I remember this one. I'd like to introduce again Development Services Manager, Director Mike Rumer.
Thank you. This is a preliminary final for a large-scale site plan for an indoor self-storage facility. This self-storage facility received planning and development, went through this commission and the city commission, and we, as part of our moratorium, said this one is good to keep moving forward. It was after this one that we received a lot of pressure and obstacles for other development, so that's why we did the moratorium that's in effect. This one is good to go forward. This is the remaining parcel of land. It was a lot of things. It was going to end up being a 16,000 square foot retail building. So you have, it's on it's Tommen Boulevard. Windermere really starts where the pond is here, but this map shows it as Windermere. You have Roberson Road, the roundabout, and the State Road 429. You can see as part of the original parcel, this is remaining wetlands. You have wetlands, and you have wetlands, the pet paradise, and then the wetlands is part of this parcel. It's a planned unit development. It was rezoned, a major amendment to the PUD zoning and land use plan to allow the indoor self-storage with a very specific requirement that they drive and unload indoors as well. And that's the site plan you're going to see before you today. This is a snapshot showing how they're going to use single entrance off Tommen Boulevard, shared entrance into the PD. This is the pet paradise, the master stormwater pond for the site, and then we have the proposed self-storage facility, which is blown up here. So as you come into the site, it's multiple stories, 37,000 square feet. You actually drive in and park and unload within the development. That was one of the negotiations to move forward. The site was, going back to the original PD, it was envisioned as sort of as a pet destination with a 24-hour vet, high-end, I say high-end, very multiple pools, high-end doggy daycare, ancillary retail, some classroom space to kind of teach vet and business, and then retail. And at the time we finally got this project approved, the Commissioner Keller sat through some long meetings with the applicant, and he was bought out by VCA, Veterinary Centers of America. And VCA bought his practice, and he could no longer go forward under the Barker-Reedville, and he sold a part to Pet Paradise, which he felt was, for Ocoee, he wanted to kind of stay consistent with a better user and not just a mom and pop. And then he retained the north end of the site, tragically passed away. And so we are, the sort of the destination where everything worked together just wasn't being fulfilled. And so we feel this is a good complement for the pet daycare. It's not a big driver of trips, and it will architecturally look cohesive with the color scheme and some of the elements. And then the self-storage is, unloading is done inside the building. So it'll just sort of look like it's a self-storage building, but like an office building that doesn't have many workers. That was sort of the concept we went with. They do have to modify the existing pond a little bit, but they're draining into the master stormwater pond. And this site helped get utilities to the area. We call this the Southwest Utility Area, this site, and we didn't have water and sewer in this area. We have an Araya, age-restricted apartments, a future ALF, and this site provided the opportunity to run sewer all the way down and around and connect it so we can service this area. The elevation, if you've seen the Pet Paradise, it's similar material, similar colors. It's going to, as much as it can, kind of be architecturally cohesive. So when you're going by, it looks like it's not just piecemeal. And with that, the engineer for this site is the engineer of record for the Pet Lodge and the Barker-Reedville from day one, and very familiar with the site. So if you have any questions, we recommend approval.
All right, does anybody have any questions for staff?
I think mine got answered ahead of time, but you figured mine coming as far as the moratorium. So yeah, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the third time I think it's done before us in the last. Now, would the applicant like to come up and speak for any reason? And if you could, can you give your name and address, please?
Good evening, I'm Bill Hawkins-Smith, Florida Engineering Group, 5127 South Orange Avenue, Orlando.
Thank you.
I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Any questions?
No, I mean, we've dealt with this project before. I agree with staff. I think if it's well back there, and there's a need for that back there on this side of town, I think. Buffer of Windermere and Ocoee and Winter Garden together there, I think it'll do well.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you. Seeing that this is a public hearing, is there anyone here that would like to speak on this item? Seeing that there is none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. All right, one motion is necessary. Can I have a motion to recommend approval of the large-scale preliminary final site plan for project LS 2021-010?
I'll make the motion.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. So we have a vote for approval and a second for it. Can we do a vote? All in approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, off to miscellaneous project status report.
We had the pre-construction meeting today for we call it Ocoee Medical. It's an Advent Health urgent care and some other ancillary office on the corner of McGuire and 50, which was the old Mobil gas station. If you haven't been by there in the last few days, it is nothing's erected on site. It's all being hauled off as we speak. That was a partnership with the city and the CRA and the property owner. The CRA did participate in some incentives to help with some of the abatement of the gas. The CRA is intended to remove blight. That was a blighted site, and they participated in some areas there. So it's a really neat economic development project, and it's going to help that corner, that visibility from that old Mobil gas station. I visited the Inspiration PUD this morning, and it's under construction. It's well fenced. At some point, it'd be worth a drive out there. A lot going on, and they've got all the commercial spaces sold, leased up. It's just a matter of materials. They're hoping by April to button the site up, so it's only internal build outs of the people that already have signed leases and bought. They've condoed some of it, and then they're going to expect to have their model townhomes available, and they're telling me they've got 30 reserved at $670,000 for the townhomes there. That is going to be a project that I will have to eat crow because I was against it from day one, and it's turned out to be very nice. And they've landscaped the thing. The entrance road is very nice, and they keep it up. The only other item, and I made a note and I don't find it here, I wanted to bring up on the development, but just want to say that the Ocoee Village Center is moving forward. We had a coordination meeting with the site people and our public works and our police, and there will be at some point 2 periods during the beginning of next year that the intersection of Fuller's Cross and North Lakewood will need to be closed. They're going to be doing work. There'll be some slowing down of traffic, 1 lane, and then we're trying to minimize that period of the 2 weeks. But the first one will be a short 2-week period. The second one will be doing the final lift of asphalt, and there's just no other way to do it. But we hope that we, as staff, fulfill the expectations for notifying the public in the Montessori school and providing maintenance of traffic. So just if you live up in that area, drive that way, things will starting to change. They're going to be putting a big roundabout in there, and they've got to run utilities and the lift station. It's just kind of, again, materials and timing. We'd like them to be doing the work during Christmas. They're just not going to be able to make it. So they'll just have to go down to 1 lane for a few weeks and then shut it down, and we'll have all that planned out. But things are moving well there, and I'm encouraged because I got a zoning verification request dealing with a grocery store out there. They say they have one. They say it's going to be Winn-Dixie. This didn't lead out to who it was going to be, but it was a grocery store. So we might get a grocery store out there. And keep the people from the north having to drive down farther than the Publix to go shopping. Give them another option.
It'd be nice to get a Mendel's around here. The Amazon supercenters they're building.
And so we have a a number of residential projects. We just had one finished site development and industrial project. And our townhome developments that are kind of the ones going right now are just, they're selling out. The D.R. Horton project up at McCormick and at Popcov Island will be breaking ground soon on another 300 homes. And I hear that, I keep hearing somebody has the Chevron property under contract, which we have an approved PD for about 276 homes and bungalows and townhomes called the Eagle Creek development. It's been on the books for
Yeah, that's been on the
since
books for a while.
2000. Yeah, they paid their transportation mitigation, they dedicated the right-of-way, they've paid their school capacity, so they're vested, and just looking forward to something that's gonna be, that's our best option for having rooftops kind of near our downtown. That's our last area where we can get really significant rooftops. People using the 12-foot trail that'll be there one day and come into our downtown, so. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
I didn't think it was appropriate with that applicant, but is that the last of the storage facilities in the flow prior to the moratorium, or do you think?
Yes, no, well, there's one that's under construction, so you don't see it right now. They ran into a utility conflict. That's at Good Homes and 50 behind, next to the Aldi. They're building on there. And that one, as well as this one, we're receptive to self-storage in a planned development. We just don't want every parcel to only be a self-storage facility. If there's a way they can make it 30%, but we're looking at the national average industry standard for self-storage nationally is about 7 square feet per person, resident. In Florida, it's 9 to 10 square feet because Florida has more mobile homes and we don't have basements. And so I think we're going to be close to that when the calculation's done. It's just we have very targeted properties left that self-storage is a very viable, well-funded use. For us, when you just have limited parcels, it just doesn't generate anything next to it. That's sort of the problem. But if you have a larger development, there could be some element of it in the back, appropriately placed, 30%. So, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this fine.
So moved.
Oh, second. Is there a second?
All in favor, say.
Aye.
Aye. We're done. Thank you.